Super Bowl. What number is this Super Bowl? 54?
I think so.
No. 62.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said.
No, I said 52.
No.
Yeah.
Unpopular
opinion, still don't know how to read Roman numerals.
I don't know if that's an opinion, but definitely a fact.
That's a statement.
Yeah, but I'm right there with you. So I'm in complete lockstep there.
I said, which Super Bowl is this? It is 57.
All right. Hey, third time's the charm.
My bad. So I figured what we can do today is just
wait. No, are we sure?
I don't know. Wait,
this says 59.
It is 59. Correct.
Hey, listen, 59. We're a football podcast and we don't even know what Super Bowl number it is.
My bad. So insignificant, though. I figured what we can do, give a little game preview, the line, obviously, maybe a little bit of like some key success type vibe. Then maybe some props, and then anything else that you want to add, because obviously this is your team that is playing in the Super Bowl. So game preview. Chiefs, as of right now, probably stay this way, sit at 1.5 point favorites. The over-under is at 48.5. Do you have any feel currently for the over-under, how you're feeling about this game, just anything? Like, go ahead.
So I think this game is going to be, so what, we sit at 48.5. I forget what the score was last time, but I don't see a high scoring affair here. And I think 48 is probably like the average for the season as far as over unders have gone, maybe on the higher side. I think the Chiefs are very slow and methodical when it comes to holding on to the football. They're okay with dinking and dunking the entire way down the field. They'll probably end up having long drives. And then I think the thing that worries me is just how quickly the Eagles can score. Like Saquon could rip off a 50-yard run at any point. I don't know if we'll still get that because of how disciplined the Chiefs are in defense, but I like under 48. I think it's going to be a slower paced game. I think the Chiefs and the Eagles, obviously the Chiefs are run by the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, and the Eagles have one of the best defenses in the NFL. I think it's going to be a slower paced game. So as of right now, I like under 48.5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute rock fight. Something that I think is an absolute must watch in this entire game is Jalen Hurts versus the pressure, because the splits when he's pressured versus clean are insane. When he's pressured, out of 37 quarterbacks, he's 37 of 37 in success rate, 37 of 37 in EPA per attempt, 33 of 37 in sack rate, 32 of 37 in yards per attempt. Kansas City does not get a lot of sacks, but they are 6th in defensive pressure rate. And obviously Spags is going to dial up some big blitz. The last time Jalen Hurts played Spags, 14 of 22, 150 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 5 sacks. I think everybody really remembers that 2022 Super Bowl where Jalen Hurts absolutely balled out, but then the next season in 2023, Spags absolutely shut him down. So I think that's definitely something that we should keep an eye on. Is we see how Jalen Hurts reacts this entire season to when he's pressured, and going up against probably one of the best DCs in the game. I'm a little worried about it personally.
Yeah, I think that's definitely room for concern. The good thing is they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. It's just a matter of Jalen recognizing the blitz, which I know that Spags has done a phenomenal job of disguising pressures and disguising coverages throughout his tenure as a DC. So it's going to come down to a lot of recognition, I think, on the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles to have success throwing, and Jalen's ability to be able to figure out where the blitz is coming from, when it's coming, and then being able to just get the ball into those hands of the playmakers that he has in Smitty and AJ Brown. I mean, I think those are probably two of the best guys that you can have in the NFL when it goes to man to man pressure or man to man defense. Sorry. Um, so if he's able to take advantage of those and hit a couple deep passes to Smitty, whether it be across the middle, AJ down the sideline, I think we could see an adjustment there. And on the flip side, if you're running away from the blitz, it makes things a hell of a lot easier for Saquon, less people to beat. But again, I think this game is going to come down to um, adjustments. Which team can make the most adjustments and which team can get aligned better than the other, I think. I think that Spags is a phenomenal defensive coordinator, which is no secret. He's very creative. He knows situations very well. Um, but I think that both teams are going to have to make adjustments, and I think it's going to come down to whoever makes the better adjustments of these two teams. But yeah, I think the numbers for Hurts versus the blitz um, that you just rattled off are certainly something to worry about.
Yeah, I like I said, I think that this game just needs to be a rock fight. And if the Eagles are smart and want to win this football game, they need to play time of possession very well and almost want to limit those big plays that you like mentioned from Saquon. I mean, everybody talks about how great the Chiefs defensive run defense is, but in this postseason, they gave up 147 total yards to the Bills and 2 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per attempt. And then against the Texans in their first matchup, I think it surprised a lot of people when Joe Mixon had a very good game. They had 149 total yards, 5.1 yards per attempt, and 1 touchdown. So teams have been able to run the ball on the Eagles this entire postseason.
On the
And I
Chiefs.
think on the Chiefs, sorry, this entire postseason. And then obviously the Eagles have the best player in the NFL who just so happens to be the best running back in the NFL. Um, I think that that's a major, major mismatch going into this game. I think that the Eagles have, I think when you look at each team, if you just lay it out, offensive line, Eagles have better offensive line. Defensive line, Eagles have better defensive line. Linebackers, Eagles have better linebackers. Secondary, Eagles have better secondary. I think wide receivers, running backs, tight ends probably goes towards the Chiefs. I just think that you go across this entire board, and the only position that the Chiefs are better than the Eagles is quarterback. It is the most important position ultimately at the end of the day.
They also have
But
the better head coach too.
yeah, and coach. Well, hey, I mean, we can argue that. I mean, Sirianni has an ungodly win record for whatever reason. So listen, I'm not going to do that though. But I'm with you. They
Thank you.
obviously have
Thank you.
they obviously have the better coaching staff. They have the better DC. They have the better OC. They have the better quarterback. But I just think that I think Fangio is good. I think the offense can be good at times. I think that they have the best player in football in Saquon Barkley, and I think that they have the best defense. I really hate to do this.
Oh
I
no.
really do. I think the Eagles can win this game, similar to how the Buccaneers beat the Eagles or beat the Chiefs when Brady was in Tampa, and we could see this game being very lopsided. And I think the Eagles are going to be able to limit the Chiefs. Um, we watched the Chiefs all season be mediocre. The two teams that they played in the playoffs were the Texans, who we were both off of like pretty hard, and
That
obviously they
was the
were.
team that we wanted to face if we were first round of the playoffs.
And then they go and they put up more than 30 points for the first time all season. They put up 32 points against the team that they own in the playoffs, the Bills. So I'm kind of looking past those two performances, and I know that that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I think that at a point, how everybody gasses up the Bills so much, I think at some point we have to knock them down a peg because they just get owned in the playoffs every single year. Um, I just think the Eagles are a better football team. And I think that the Eagles can definitely make a big statement in this game. And I just don't see why they couldn't. We watched the Chiefs playing rock fights the entire year against teams way lesser than them and barely squeak out wins. They've barely squeaked out 2 wins this postseason. And I just think the everybody's talking about how great the Chiefs are. The Eagles are what they've rung off like 16 straight. Have they lost a game with Jalen Hurts as a starter in like 18 games or something like that? Like that should also be something that's spoken about just as much as how impressive the Chiefs have been playing as well.
Yeah, the Eagles haven't lost a game this season where Jalen started and completed the entire game um since the Buccaneers I mean, two of their few losses he played in, but those were at the very beginning of the season. But yeah, I one of the things that you talked about was the run game, and one of the things that the Eagles have been doing a really good job out of is running out of 11 personnel, one tight end, one running back. And the thing that the Chiefs are the worst at is defending the run game out of 11 personnel. So out of 11 personnel, Saquon Barkley's gaining like 6.9 yards per carry, which is
Crazy.
just disgusting. Um, and then the Chiefs versus 11 personnel, they're 24th in yards per carry and 17th in EPA. So, like, if I'm the Eagles, I know that Spags is going to have some type of adjustment because there's no way that he's just going into this knowing how poor they are in 11 personnel run defense. I'm sure he'll have an adjustment, but if I'm the Eagles, line up in 11 personnel, run the football until they stop it, pretty much like you've been doing the entire playoffs. They've been doing it 81% of the time, and 6.9 yards is pretty damn good.
I think something too that needs to be talked about and hasn't really been talked about is that this is not this regime's first time ever in a Super Bowl. They were a PI call away from potentially winning a Super Bowl. And I think that matters. Having the experience of
Experience, yeah.
being there before with the coaching staff, with the quarterback, everyone, really. I mean, there's a lot of guys on that roster that played in the 2022 Super Bowl. And I think that that is invaluable experience and how they approach this week, how they approach this game. It's just a completely different feeling this time around for the Philadelphia Eagles, where Jalen Hurts was starting in his first ever Super Bowl. Sirianni was coaching in his first ever Super Bowl, and all these guys now they know the expectation. They were a penalty away from beating Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and I feel like going back 2 years later with a reinvigorated offense, a completely stacked defense, I just don't see why this isn't their year to go and take it. I just don't see why.
Yeah, a lot of familiarity on both sides of the football for the Eagles team as far as guys that have played in the Super Bowl. I mean, 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen played in the Super Bowl the first time around. Um, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard, Jalen, obviously. That's what 9 guys on the offensive side of the football who have played 8 guys who've played in a Super Bowl already. It doesn't feel like the mountain is as tall to climb this year versus the first time they played the Chiefs. Um, it really didn't feel like, as successful as Philadelphia was that year, it still always kind of felt like it was the Chiefs' Super Bowl to lose, and it ended up playing out that way. Um, the defense was very bad in that Super Bowl, and I just have a very hard time seeing them going out there and playing as poorly as they did um, in that first Super Bowl. I read that the Chiefs had 8 possessions in the Super Bowl and they scored 4 touchdowns and had a field goal. So, like, props to them for being able to string together drives. But if you tell me that that's what happens in this one, probably won't believe you. So
Yeah.
I think I feel a lot better defensively moving. I feel a lot better defensively about this Super Bowl than I did the first one. And even though Jalen hasn't gone out there and had nearly the same year that he did that year, being there before 100% is helpful. And it just so happens that you have the best running back in the NFL in the backfield next to you,
Best player in the NFL.
best player in the NFL in the backfield
Sorry.
next to you. No, you're good. And you have that guy next to you. Like, that's the ultimate X factor. Being able to have a guy like Saquon Barkley who at any moment can rip off a 65-yard run for a touchdown. Um, I will not get excited until the game hits 0 and the Eagles are holding the Super Bowl, but I feel pretty good about this team and about Sunday. A lot better than I did in 2022.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't feel that way. I mean, just a massive perform. Like I said, I feel like the big storyline of the entire postseason so far is the Eagles finally being able to get the monkey off their back and putting up like a dominant offensive performance and capitalizing on every single offensive possession and putting up 55 points. It's like, okay, this thing actually does work. Because at a point, it felt like they
Yeah.
weren't able to really get anything going other than the Saquon Barkley explosive plays. But getting other guys involved too is just as important. And I just feel like that performance and that feeling in the locker room, like going into the Super Bowl, while also being able to compose themselves because they have all of the veterans and all of the guys who've played in the Super Bowl before, being able to compose yourself and being like, okay, we still have one more name and going in and doing it. I just don't think a team three-peats. I think
That's what I
that
was just going to say.
I just don't think a team three-peats. I don't like anything about this Chiefs team. I've said it all year. I still don't like them. Nothing has changed in my opinion that makes me like them any more than I did in the regular season. I think that I know that like a lot of people have like kind of came around and I agree too. Like, yes, they do make the plays to win the football games, but to not just blindly say like the refs do favor them on some calls is just like you're not watching the games at that point. Like, because it does happen. And I just think that that's why the Eagles are going to go out and make sure that this game isn't in the referee's hands. And I just don't think they have an answer for Saquon Barkley. I don't think that they do.
Nobody has had an answer for Saquon Barkley. You can, I don't even know how, but the plan is probably going to be stack the box, get man coverage, and make make Jalen throw the football against you as a defense. But you would have thought like that should have been everybody's game plan throughout the season, and it just never really worked because
No.
there will be a point where you're not going to be able to cover AJ Brown, and you're not going to be able to cover Devontae Smith, and you're not going to be able to cover Dallas Goedert man to man for an entire game and not get burnt somehow. And if the Chiefs do that and they play man to man the entire game against those guys and shut the Eagles offense down, that's just a fucking tip of the cap to them as a defense and a tip of the cap to Spags because he's the best to ever do it. But do
Yeah.
I see that happening? No.
Yeah, I don't either. I just think I find it I think no matter how the game goes, if it's a rock fight, the Eagles have the better run game and the better defense. If it's a high scoring affair, the Eagles have the better defense and they have the more explosive, they have all better weapons on offense other than the quarterback. So I just think that if it's a game where it turns out to be pace oriented, I think that at some point that the defense for the Eagles will be able to step up and make a play, whether it's a turnover, big stop on third down, whatever. I think that at some point they will be able to make a play on defense and vice versa. I think on the other side, the offense will be able to make a play too. I just think it's the Eagles' year. I really do.
I'm glad that you mentioned the turnover part of this. That is the one thing that makes me nervous is They have had what, like 3 forced turnovers the last the both playoff games they forced 3 fumbles, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't think it's realistic for me to expect that to happen in this game, and that's the thing that kind of worries me because who knows what happens in those drives where
They Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say who knows what happens in those drives when like Jalen Carter doesn't force a fumble or like Zach Bond forces a fumble. Like what I don't know what those drives turn out to be, but again, I don't have to worry because they made a play.
Yeah,
But at
it
the
didn't
same time,
happen.
like
So it's
I can't go in there and expect this defense to force 3 turnovers.
No, I don't think that that should be the expectation. But like I said, can they get one pick and a key stop on third down, or can they just get a stop on third down? Can they get the stop on fourth? I think they can. I don't know. I think they can. I think obviously the biggest X factor is going to be Mahomes using his legs. Can the linebacker matchup with Patrick Mahomes using his legs? Like I like that matchup with the Eagles. I do. So
I do too. I think
like
Bond
I said,
flies around.
I just think every scenario that we're talking about across the board, I just think it's the Eagles' year. I really do. I don't see why not. I I just think at this point, and I hate to do this to you, I really do because I know that you're a fan and it probably will like make your skin crawl, but I do think that they can win by 2 possessions. I really do.
I will not say that on
Yeah.
film,
No, I
but
know.
that's good to hear. But listen, obviously, you know that I don't care how it gets done. Just going out there, and if they go out there and they take care of the football, and they've played the same brand of Eagles football that they have played since the Cleveland Browns game, they stand a great shot of winning this Super Bowl. And I think, like you said, the three-peat part of this, they stopped a team from three-peating a few years ago. Why not? Why not now too? I mean, it was a little bit different. It wasn't like the Patriots won back to back, but they won. They were in what 4 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls in a row, and one lost one. So it the Eagles might have the three-peat juice, the three-peat stopper. That might be the
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, I think so. And we can, if you have anything else that you want to add on in the game, you obviously can. Or there's a few props that I like that if you want to go into that, that'd be great.
I think it's also like worth noting too, like the last 3 Super Bowls have been one possession games, and I think we'll probably end up seeing. I think we can. I know you think that the Eagles can win by 2 possessions, but I would not be shocked if we get another Super Bowl that comes down to a one possession game.
The reason why I say that, just to hammer home like the last point on my end, is like the Chiefs' offensive line is awful. It's bad. They have reworked it multiple times. They have Joe Thuney playing left tackle. Jawan Taylor is a absolute liability at right tackle. And I think that at times their interior can get got. And I think when you have Jordan Davis and Jordan Carter, Jalen Carter is the best defense. Could argue that he's one of the best defensive players in football. I said this on the last episode. I don't think that they have an answer for that. And I think that that's really what it comes down to. After the Super Bowl against the Bucks, when they lost, what it was 32-9, I believe. Patrick Mahomes didn't even score a touchdown. Everybody was like, after that game, oh my gosh, the offensive line, like blah blah blah, like this, that, and the thing. Okay, the Chiefs' offensive line's bad. Uh, Isaiah Pacheco is an absolute shell of himself, and Kareem Hunt is your number one back. Your wide receiving core is very average, although you've dumped a ton of resources into it. And I don't want to hear anything about DeAndre Hopkins. He's been practically a no-show all season, besides one game. And obviously, I think Travis Kelsey will be able to do his thing. But like I said, I like that matchup with the linebackers and Travis Kelsey and everything. I just think that right now when this game is over, when the headlines are written on Sunday night, everybody will just be sitting around being like, plain flat and simple, this offense that they have built for Patrick Mahomes like just isn't it. Like their offensive line isn't good, the talent across the board like isn't that good, but they can find ways to win games within the regular season. But when they come up against like a true juggernaut like the Eagles are this year, I just don't think they have it in them to be able to win this football game.
I have the stats from the Chiefs Buccaneers Super Bowl. 31-9, like you said. Mahomes 2 picks and was sacked 3 times. Um, if the Eagles can get that type of performance out of their defense against him on Sunday night, I feel absolutely incredible about winning that football game. Um, I think that I'm looking through this. Oh, and he had a fumble. He didn't lose it, but he had a fumble. The defense for the Buccaneers that year, don't get me wrong, was very solid, but across the board, like I think the Eagles match up player for player really well against that Buccaneers team. And I know that it's maybe not the fairest comparison because that Chiefs team is constructed differently now. Um, but
Same DNA.
same guy running the ship as they had back in what 2020.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that the Eagles just have to continue to, on the defensive side of the football, continue to play with the same type of energy they've been playing. Get hats on the football. Don't give up the deep plays, which they've been very good at um, throughout the season, and force the Chiefs to be okay with checking it down. Eagles rally to the football, make tackles, try to force fumbles like they've been doing a great job of the last 2 weeks. And I think that's really all you can ask for. This Eagles defense doesn't give up a lot of deep shots. This Chiefs offense doesn't take a lot of deep shots. Like it, I feel really good about Quinyon Mitchell flying around, Cooper DeJean flying around. I'll be really interested to see the matchup for how they go about covering Travis Kelce. I was seeing that they might have Cooper DeJean on him, which I'd love that.
Yeah.
Um, high energy guy, smart guy, tackles really well. Um, obviously extremely athletic. Like Kelsey just doesn't have the same juice that he used to, but I feel really good about putting a guy like Cooper DeJean on him for a game. I'd much rather him than Oren. I don't even know how to say his name, Oren Burks, but and then giving Bond the opportunity to kind of just man the defense, keep an eye on Mahomes, and play at the high level that he's been playing at all season.
I completely agree with you.
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. I was nervous as hell for the NFC Championship, and it ended up not being close. But and that was the most nervous that I've been for a football game since the last Super Bowl the Eagles were in. This is by far the. It's not even Sunday yet, and I feel like this game is about to be played. That's how like nervous I feel.
I think it's gonna be. I do think it's gonna be a great game. Like I said, I just think at some point, like and if it happens, it happens. I'll stop hating on the Chiefs as hard as I do. But at some point, like this, like dinky dunk style and having every bounce go your way and everything, like that magic runs up at some point. I know that they're a really good football team. I'm not saying that they're not, but a lot of what comes down to playing the Chiefs is like such little errors. And if a team's able to just get ahead and they're playing catch up, like I don't know what that looks like. And I think that we might watch that happen this weekend.
Yeah, if it gets to a point where the Eagles go up 10, 14, I don't know if this Chiefs offense, like 14 is probably the number, if I was a Chiefs fan, that I would be like, all right, are we built for being able to just continue to dink and dunk down the field? Because they, like I said, they don't take those deep shots. They don't have that deep threat like they used to. when they had
No.
Tyreek Hill. Like they very few times this year were Mahomes chucking bombs down the field. I mean, I have this stat here. Where's my notes at? All right. Mahomes' average pass this year is 6.3 yards over the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
That is 34th out of 36 qualifying quarterbacks in the NFL. 35 is Gardner Minshew and 36 is Tua.
Listen, people yell at me when I call Mahomes the check down merchant. So it is what it is. If you know this channel or if you've seen us come across your thing, yes, we've hated on Mahomes so much because this is a different version of Mahomes than what we're used to. His style currently is playing a very conservative style game plan and just dinking and dunking and trying to get something and throwing balls behind and at the line of scrimmage. So that stat does not shock me. I know a lot of people probably won't believe that or think that we're stupid, but that's just the stats. He is literally under league average, under not even league average, under some of the worst quarterbacks in the league with its average depth of target is what you're talking
Yeah.
about, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right.
All right, are you ready to get into some props? Some bets
Let's
that
do
you
it.
have. It doesn't have to just be props. So I'm going to start out because I don't have that much because I haven't dove much into it because I had a busy week of work. But Saquon Barkley breaks Jimmy Smith's rushing record of 204 yards, is plus 1,800. $10 wins you 180 yards. Why not? Why not? Saquon.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Why can't he do this?
I mean, he absolutely can. He's ripped off 200-yard games how many times this year? I don't know, like
Check?
6, 7?
I'll check real quick.
7 200-yard games. He's got, and he could have had more against the Rams
He had
in the
7
playoffs.
200-yard games.
Something like that.
Hold on, I'm checking. That is absolutely repulsive.
No, he
Game
probably had
log.
less than that. He might have had 5.
He has 1.
No. Bro, well, no way. He definitely had more than that.
He has 1 in the regular season, 1
Damn.
in the postseason.
Sorry. Dude, it just feels like he was ripping off like. Yeah, you're right. I got a little ahead of myself. Sorry.
That is hilarious, but I do like the prop. I think at some point Saquon breaks one of these records this season. Why not do it on the biggest stage?
Sorry, I got a little too ahead of myself.
No, it's okay.
It just felt like there was so many games where he just was running all over the field that I began to like actually lose count as to what he was getting. But yeah, that would have been actually insane to have 200 yards 7 times. So that's on me.
No, you're fine.
All right. So my first one is just I'm taking heads on the coin toss.
Dude, I have that written down. I swear on my life.
Let's go. Take it. Make sure you take it on FanDuel though, because you get it at plus money. DraftKings, or no, take it on DraftKings. You get it at plus money. On FanDuel, it's minus 110.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, my second one. I've got 7 bets as of right now. So, second one I've got is there to be a successful 2-point conversion.
Okay.
I don't know who it's going to be, and I don't have any actual stats to back this one up, but it feels like one of these teams will go for 2 and get it at some point. The second one that I have is a player to record an octopus. I think, and basically, if you don't know what that is, it's you score the touchdown and then you also are the one to score on the 2-point conversion. I think that one I knew that you knew what that meant, but
I didn't know. I really didn't.
Oh, Oh, okay. Well, I think that'll either. I think we'll get a Saquon or Jalen Hurts scenario or Mahomes scenario for that.
Fair.
I feel like it's more likely to be Saquon or Jalen since those two guys actually run the football. But
What odds
um,
is that?
I think that it's definitely plus money. Let me open up the old gambling pad. Um,
Wow, I'm tired.
all right. God darn it, it's not on here.
Nice, man.
Sorry. All right. Any player to record an octopus is plus 1040.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I took that. Successful 2-point conversion. And then I've got Devontae Smith over 11 and a half fantasy points.
Who?
Devontae Smith.
Okay, sorry.
So I actually have stats for that one. Against the Chiefs, Devontae Smith is played like two of his better games. He in 2021 against the Chiefs, 7 receptions, 122 yards, and then in 2023 against the Chiefs, 6 catches for 99 yards. Both of those games are over 11 and a half fantasy points.
Okay, I like it.
And then I parlayed Smitty 40 plus receiving yards with Dallas Goedert 40 plus receiving yards. I just obviously rattled off the Smitty stats, but the Dallas Goedert playoff games, he's been playing pretty well since he came back. Against the Rams, he had 56 yards, and let me pull this other one up here. And against the Commanders, he had 85.
I like it.
So that one, Smitty for 40 receiving yards, Dallas Goedert for 40 receiving yards. That pays plus 100.
Okay, word. I got some Super Bowl MVPs, and then you can go into the rest of your bets. I got Saquon Barkley to win Super Bowl MVP and score the first touchdown at plus 800, 10 to win 80. Why not? One that really, my favorite one, and then we'll talk about AJ Brown. My favorite one, Jalen Carter plus 9,500, 10 to win 950. Him to win Super Bowl MVP. I laid out the scenario where it could be a potential rock fight. And if it's a low scoring rock fight affair, if Jalen Carter is absolutely causing havoc in the middle, making Patrick Mahomes' life hell, and they're the reason that they go out and win this football game, I think out of everyone on the defense, maybe Zach Vaughn, what's his last name?
Zach Bond.
Zach Bond.
Sack Bond.
I'm fucking tired as shit. So maybe him. I think that might be actually a sneaky one too, if we want to pop in on that. But Jalen Carter has like that name power that everybody loves, and he's recognizable. And I don't know. I just love that one. I have a gut feeling. One that's crazy to me, and maybe you can talk through this to me. AJ Brown is plus 3,300 to win Super Bowl MVP. We obviously remember his performance in the last Super Bowl. I mean, he absolutely balled out. That one touchdown that he had where he like faked where the ball was going to be, came back, and then made the catch was like slow mo. Like watching that, breaking it down is like so disgusting. Xavier Worthy's at plus 3,100. In what world does Xavier Worthy have better Super Bowl MVP odds than AJ Brown? Like that's ridiculous.
I think the only way that ends up happening is like if we do get a rock fight and it ends up being, I don't know, like 20-10, and the only like touchdown, I guess you would need more than that, but like The only touchdown scored is a Xavier Worthy touchdown. That's like the only way I feel like we would get that.
Or if you can get 2.
Yeah, something crazy.
But at
Like a
that point,
long
like Patrick
one
Mahomes is,
long he'd have to get it on like a handoff because
yeah.
you know that Andy Reid loves to do that freak shit with him.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're definitely right. Yeah,
um,
obviously,
I
I'm
like
just
I like
Saquon heavy.
I like
It
the
sounds
AJ
dumb.
Brown, the sneaky AJ Brown one though, because of the way that he played last game in the Super Bowl. Um, it kind of goes back on what I said earlier in if the Chiefs just decide to play man to man the entire time, uh, AJ Brown could see a lot of targets, get a lot of one on one opportunities, and that could lead to a very big game from him. It would be hard for me to see Jalen not win it if that is the case. If he's just has like 2 touchdowns to AJ Brown, maybe, but I don't know. I think there is a world where it could happen. But I sneaky like that one too. Saquon, obviously, that's going to be a lot of people's go-to.
I'm
Uh,
Saquon heavy. It's gonna be bad, and it's probably gonna burn me, but I don't care at this point. I just want to see Saquon just do his thing. Like, obviously, who doesn't?
my last bet that I have as of right now is Saquon to be the fastest offensive ball carrier recorded.
And
Yeah.
what are you using, man? Like, what's wrong with you? like,
Dude, that was on DraftKings. It was a next gen stats bet. And I was like,
that
oh,
is
yeah, that's really sick.
bonkers. That is
Yeah,
bonkers. But hey,
that's right. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I have one other one too.
let's hear it.
All right. First touchdown jersey number under 15 and a half.
What if Saquon scores? Then doesn't hit.
Then it's a loser. But
All right.
that leaves me with Jalen, Smitty, AJ Brown, Patrick Mahomes, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, DeAndre Hopkins. It pretty much just eliminates Goddard, Saquon, Pacheco, and Kelsey.
Now to end the Super Bowl talk, and then I got one more thing I need to add. Give us your final prediction for the Super Bowl.
I think the Philadelphia Eagles avenge their 2022 Super Bowl loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Saquon wins Super Bowl MVP. I think the Eagles win the game 21-17.
21-17.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Hey, I already said what I thought.
That's hits the under like I thought. Saquon probably scores 2 of the 3 Eagle touchdowns. Eagles defense plays stout, gives up 17. Another game where the Chiefs don't put up 30 points, which has been the knack on them this entire year. I think it's possible.
I do too. Hey, I like it. I'll put this up. One more thing.
I know what you're gonna do.
What is this?
Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. Bro,
What
you
is
saw
it?
my text. You saw my text. He's built like everyone's uncle.
What's going on in this picture right here?
He loves AJ Brown. They're boys. He's rooting for them. He hates the Chiefs. So I think that's what I saw at least. I don't know. I don't feel good about that. I will say.
I just don't understand what Debo's doing. One, he looks terrible.
He looks like 06 Gucci.
He looks actually bad,
Yeah, he has a beer gut.
which is concerning. Second, this I hit. I can't even talk right now. Wearing another team's jersey is actually crazy when you're
in the same sport. Yes.
when you're, and it's like a rival, like an NFC rival, where these guys have like gone to battle like multiple times. You guys like hate each other, and he's wearing an Eagles jersey, like
At
mind
least
blowing.
throw on the Ole Miss AJ Brown jersey.
Oh, boss, yeah, that's the least you could do, or just don't wear a jersey. I'm blown away. Debo Samuel needs to figure it out. That's all. That's all I need to say.
I'll say this: whoever his stylist is has done just a great. Besides that jersey, has just done a great job of hiding his beer gut.
I like when he wears those little leather shorts. Sorry. Sorry, I'm done. I gotta get off this, dude. I'm tired. But listen, next week we'll do Super Bowl recap, and then let's have the coaches stuff ready. That's on me this week. And we'll move on forward then from there. But good job, and I'll post this.
All right. Hopefully, I have good news next episode. The fate of the rest of my year until next Super Bowl will depend on it.
You know how I'm riding. Nope.
That's
no
right.
Diddy. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm done.
White clouds blowing out when we back